Well, as we've been reporting, nearly 2 years since it began, the war has devastated the livelihoods of people in Gaza, but also severely hurt the Palestinian economy in the West Bank. Hugh Royer from our business desk is here for more.
Sharon, there's very little economic activity left in Gaza, and famine has been declared, with Israel restricting humanitarian aid entering the enclave. GDP in that area shrank more than 80% in the first few months of the war. Unemployment stands at 80%, and because of Israel's blockades, money and goods are not coming in, resulting in a severe cash shortage. The cost of living has skyrocketed, with cooking oil up 1,200% and flour up 5,000% by the middle of this year. Those still earning salaries are seeing the value of their wages decline sharply. Earlier this month, UN experts have warned about the severe economic emergency and catastrophic harm to human rights stemming from Israel's attacks on Gaza, but also its wider financial stranglehold across the occupied Palestinian territory. According to the report, Israel has threatened not to renew the annual waiver of terrorist financing laws that allows Israeli banks to process transactions with Palestinian banks this year. Such a measure would cut Palestinians off from the global financial system altogether. Israel has also been using its leverage on the so-called clearance revenues for the Palestinian authorities. Those are import taxes paid by Palestinian citizens and collected by Israeli authorities that control border crossings on behalf of the Palestinian Authority. Israel has weaponized these revenues by freezing, delaying and holding them up, leaving the Ramallah government unable to pay Palestinian civil servants. Israel has also revoked or suspended work permits for some 140,000 Palestinian workers. Their earnings previously represented a quarter of the Palestinian GDP.
And Israel has, of course, also taken an economic hit.
Well, the war began when Israel's economic situation was fragile amid political instability and deepening social divisions stemming from the government's plan to restrict the judiciary. Since then, it's been facing mounting costs of military operations. The share of defense spending rose to nearly 9% of GDP last year. This has translated into delays and cuts in public infrastructure and welfare projects, affecting long-term economic development. The government's budget deficit is expected to remain around 16% for the rest of this decade. The mobilization of more than 350,000 reservists, coupled with the suspension of work permits for Palestinians, have resulted in labor shortages. Amid all this, consumer spending has weakened, and Israel's relentless attacks on Gaza and blockade of aid, as well as the recent approval of a settlement expansion in the West Bank, have prompted the European Union to suspend its bilateral trade deal with the country. Now, GDP shrank sharply in 2023 and 2024, with both tax revenue and investments declining. In fact, it's the government's increasing military spending that is driving GDP growth now. Israel's credit ratings have also been downgraded since the start of the war.